Good day, and welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And before we get into it, I'm repping Kurt Rambis today, just so you know. So let's get into it. So the '91 Trailblazers looked like they were going to the NBA Finals. They had it all. Scoring, defense, you name it. They were coached by Rick Adelman. They had Porter. They had Drexler. They had Duckworth, Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey. They had Danny Young, Danny Ainge. They had Drazen Petrovic, the late Drazen Petrovic, but they traded him mid-season to New Jersey. So now no, and on top of that, they also had Cliff Robinson too. Okay, and they had the veteran Wayne Hooper. So Portland had it all. So they started the season 11-0. Okay, so they started the 1991 season 11-0, and which included a 125-112 victory over the eventual NBA champs, Chicago Bulls. So they started 11-0, and they were 19-1 after their first 20 games, and they went 16-1 in their last 17 games to finish 63-19. But they ran into trouble as soon as the playoffs start. You know, when the playoffs start, it's more physical and it slows down. Okay, and Portland is a running gun team. And I mentioned this in several videos before that Portland was kind of looked at as a team that lacked smart play. Okay. They were considered not a smart basketball team. Okay. However, they went into the 91 playoffs and they struggled against Seattle. Beat Seattle in 5 games. If it wasn't for a Sedale three-point pointer in Game 3, no, Sedale hit a 3-pointer in Game 3 to give Seattle the lead. Portland took the ball out. Then Portland threw the ball away. They threw the ball away. Nate McMillan went in with a layup, just for good measure. And so but the Blazers ended up winning in 5. Then they didn't have an easy time with Utah. They defeated the Jazz in 5 games, but there was only one blowout in that series, which was Game 1. Game 1 was the only blowout of that series. Okay. Then all of the games were decided by less than 10 points. Okay. So then they run into the Lakers, who had won 58 games that year. And so Los Angeles led by 10. The Lakers led by 10 early on. They led by 10. Portland came back. And by the start of the 4th quarter, Portland had an 11-point lead, okay? So Portland had an 11-point lead. Then they bring in Walter Davis, who was acquired mid-season by Portland, okay? So they had Walter Davis in, along with many of the bench guys for Portland, okay? And that's when the Lakers made their run. They came back and they stole game 1. So they came back from 11 down in the fourth quarter and stole game 1, which kind of was the series right there. Because after Portland won game 2, they got blown out in games 3 and 4 in Los Angeles. But then came back and won game 5, lost game 6, and that was the end of Portland's season, okay? So yeah, and you won't believe who the X Factor was in that series. That's right, you guessed it, AC Green. AC Green pretty much gave the Lakers the energy in games 3, 4, and 6. So AC Green was one of the X factors for the Lakers, along with Sam Perkins too. So while the Trailblazers were, while the '91 Trailblazers were a excellent team, the Detroit Pistons of the late '70s were not a great team. Okay. By the way, shout out to Dick Vitale, who has beat cancer again and again and again. Shout out to you, Dick Vitale. So, it was the 78-79 season when the Pistons hired Vitale. You did. For those who did not know, Dick Vitale used to coach the Detroit Pistons, believe it or not. And he went 30-52 his first year, which was 1978-79. And then, if you watch the Bad Boys documentary, one of the Piston executives said Detroit was kind of like a way station in those days. Once you got to Detroit, your goal was to get out of Detroit because the Pistons were not a good basketball team. So 78-79, they go 30-52. And I believe it was 1980 when Dick Vitale was fired. Yeah, fired. He was fired. Bill Davidson, who was the owner at that time, hired him. And in 1980, they only won 16 games, which included a 13-game losing streak and a 14-game losing streak. Okay, and Dick Vitale tells the story. He says, when Bill Davidson fired him, he says, "Bill, you have to get leadership in the front office. You have to have somebody to make who has a tremendous basketball background to make the everyday basketball decisions." And lo and behold, Jack McCloskey comes in. What do you know? So they were still bad in 1981. They won only 81 games in 1981. They started the season 1-10. Okay. So but after 1981, hey, everything changed. Everything changed, and the rest is history. Speaking of history, the 87 Clippers. Now, the Sixers went 9-73 in 1973 during the 1973 season. Okay, but hold on, man. Hold on. Let me find it. Okay. Okay, so the Clippers went 12-70 in 1987. Okay, and they actually started the season out 3-3. Okay, so they were 3-3 through their first 6 games. Then after that, they lost 15 straight. Okay, then after losing 15 straight, they won a game. Then they won 16. Then they lost 16 straight. I almost said had won. They lost 15 straight. They won a game. Then they ended up losing 16 straight after winning one game. And in their last 20 games, they went 2-20. In their last 22 games, they were 2-20. Okay. And believe it or not, the Clippers were coached by future Coach of the Year, Don Chaney. You say, oh, how was he Coach of the Year? He coached Houston to a 15-32 record in 1991, for those of you who may not remember. And Olajuwon missed a significant amount of time in 91 after taking an elbow from Bill Cartwright. Okay. So Olajuwon broke his bone in his eye right here. So, but they were able to weather the storm, and Don Chaney was named Coach of the Year. So, yeah. So, the New Jersey Nets, who went 17-65 in 1990, they were 12-25 at one point, but after being 12-25, they only won 5 of their last 44 games. Okay, let me repeat that again. They only won 5 of their last 44 games. Did the 1990 New Jersey Nets. Okay. So I think I've said this before, but the Orlando Magic, their first year in the league, they actually started the season 7-7, and they were talking playoffs in Orlando. Then Orlando won 11 more games that whole year and finished with only 18 wins. So go figure. So I just mentioned the 87 Clippers, okay? You're not going to win very many games when you have a roster with Benoit Benjamin, Michael Cage, Earl Cureton, Quentin Daly, Larry Drew, Kenny Fields, Lancaster Gordon, Jeff Hudson, Marcus Johnson, Stephon Johnson, Tim Kempton, Cedric Maxwell, Kurt Memphis, Dwayne Poley. This is some of these names. Darnell Valentine, Rory Wright, Mike Woodson. So, yeah, you're not going to win very many games with the roster like that. I'm sorry. Oh, man. The Clippers. Clippers. That's all I can say. All right, y'all. I'm done. I'm done. This has been Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. God bless out. God bless.